Welcome to a video explainer on the rules for 2 players and for solo mode. I'm going to put those 2 modes together because they're very similar, and you'll see why in a second. So first of all, for this particular mode in the game, there's no need for the resolutions. You can put those back in the box, keep those in the box. No need for events, critical or warning or sanctions. Those all are not used in the game. Otherwise, you would set up as normal with 2 exceptions. In this game, in this version of the game, you cannot play as the military general because he's actually going to be playing against you. He is the automa, he's the NPC here. And the diplomat is also incompatible with this game mode, so make sure you never select one of these 2. Otherwise, you can choose to play as either the scientist, the energy tycoon, the entertainer, or the environmentalist. We would set up the game as normal with 2 notable exceptions. You would set up, if you're playing a 2-player game, you would set up your own prosperity and emissions trackers as normal, and the global emissions tracker as well as normal. If you're playing as a solo, then you would have to use a prosperity tracker for the military general. So let's say I was the energy tycoon playing against the military general. I would have to have my prosperity token, his, and then just my emissions tracker and the global emissions tracker. The global emissions tracker can be either on 0 if you want to play the game on easy mode. You can put it on 3 if you want to play this game on medium, or you can put it all the way up to 5 if you want to play this game on hard mode. So first of all, nothing is changed. On your turn, you will still earn currency equal to your prosperity level. Then you may fund 2 projects, 1 climate policy, 1 technology. But after all players have taken their turn, we will always draw an automa card. And these automa cards are labeled at the back 1, 2, and 3. So you shuffle the 3s, put them at the bottom, then you shuffle the 2s, put them on top of that, and then you shuffle the 1s and you put them at the very top. And after both players have done their turns, you draw one of these cards. Let's have a look at this card and at the card anatomy and what it says. So first of all, the military general is always going to discard some cards. So in this case, it's saying discard projects, so blue card backs, 1, 4, and 6. So you take 1, 4, and 6, and these projects are gone forever. So you discard them completely from the game. And then it says discard 1 purple card, so technology at random. So you take all of these cards, shuffle them up, draw 1, throw it away. And then, so this part, this dark brown part at the top is always going to happen regardless of the number of players. And then depending on the number of players, you will either resolve the 2-player part or the 1-player part. If you're doing a 2-player game, you would increase emissions equal to this value. If you were doing a 1-player game, you would increase emissions equal to that value, and the military general would earn prosperity equal to whatever is on this part of the card. You resolve the card and then you move on to the next round, and in a 2-player turn, the first player token is going to alternate from round to round, and you draw the next, and then you draw the next automa card after the next round, and so on and so forth until one of the end game conditions is met. Let's get into the game end conditions here. The game end condition can happen in one of 3 ways. Let's go over the 2-player game end conditions first. Just like in the normal game mode, if a certain level of prosperity is reached, in the 2-player case it's 25, then the players will finish the round and then they will move on to scoring. Same thing happens if the project deck is depleted, finish the round, move on to scoring. If, on the other hand, the game ends by the global emissions reaching 30, the game will end immediately, and the winner of the game is going to be the person with the lowest emissions. In this case, let's say for example, it's the scientist because he has lower emissions. That's in the case of a two-player game. So in a solo game, as you mentioned, we were going to be tracking the prosperity of the military general. So, and he's going to be earning prosperity throughout the game from his cards. How does the game end in a solo player game? It ends if either you or the NPC reaches 30 prosperity. Not just you or the NPC can trigger the game end. And again, just like in a normal game, you finish the round and then you move on to scoring. Same thing also, project depletion, finish the round, move on to scoring. However, if global emissions was the game end condition and the global emissions reaches 30, you lose automatically. It's very important to note that even if you manage to reach 30 prosperity and then the NPC funds something or does something and then pushes the global emissions to 30, you still lose the game even though you managed to reach 30 prosperity points. And the details of that is explained in the rulebook, and you can go through that in detail. So let's get into how scoring happens. So a two-player game is scored just as it would be if it was a three-player game or a four-player game. You earn points for your projects, points for the positive game end condition, 1 point for climate policy, 1 point for funding any technology, and then bonuses for your leader abilities, and then points for the money, points for everything except for the UN resolution, essentially. You also make sure to get negative points if you have emissions over 7. And then whoever has the higher points wins. In a solo game, on the other hand, what the NPC scores is different depending on the difficulty level. You will score your own points just like you would in a two-player game or a multiplayer game. Points for everything that you do normally, as I just explained a second ago. But the military general, if you were playing on easy mode, he gets points equal to his prosperity points only. If you were playing on medium, he gets points from his prosperity plus 3 points for every manufacturing project that he managed to discard by way of this action right here. And if you were playing on hard mode, you would also add to that these points on the automa cards here next to the laurel leaf and star. So the harder the mode, the more ways the NPC has of scoring points. And that's all the rules for the solo and two-player mode of One Earth. Thank you for watching.